Okay, my name is Astik Oberoi. I'm working as a pastry chef at Academy of Pastry and Culinary Arts, Gurgaon. I welcome you all to the Cake and Talk Week. During this week, we will be teaching you various techniques related to making a sponge, layering a sponge, finishing a cake, making a truffle cake, making buttercream flowers, and much more. I believe you all have got the recipes that we already shared on our Insta stories. Please be assured that this video will be saved and it will be shared on our story again through the IGTV mode. We first will start with the eggless chocolate sponge recipe. Starting with the ingredients. We have got flour, breakfast sugar, oil, water, cocoa powder, vinegar, baking soda, and some vanilla essence. Okay, I'll repeat the ingredients once again. We have got flour, breakfast sugar, oil, water, some cocoa powder, vinegar, baking soda, and vanilla essence. Okay, so it's a very easy recipe. It's an eggless chocolate sponge recipe. In this recipe, we will start with water, vanilla essence, vinegar, oil, so each roll has a different ingredient to play. Starting with water will work as a binding agent to hold all the ingredients together. Oil will work as the fat and give the sponge the correct texture. Vanilla essence for flavor. I'll explain the role of vinegar. Here we have got all the dry ingredients. Cocoa powder. Very important that we sieve all the dry ingredients. Baking soda. So cocoa powder has a tendency to form lumps very easily. Hence, it's always advisable to sieve it at the very last moment whenever you are processing the recipe. Any small chunks can always be forced through the sieve. Flour. So first come first, we mix all the dry ingredients nicely. Please understand, sieving the dry ingredients not only helps to remove the lumps but also gives your sponge a light and fluffy texture. Now to the wet ingredients, which is water, vanilla essence, oil and vinegar. We will first add the breakfast sugar. Gently start mixing it. We add the breakfast sugar first so that it can dissolve easily. It's a very easy all-in recipe. Okay, so what's the role of baking soda and what's the role of vinegar? Baking soda, again, it's to give your sponge fluffiness or the desired volume. Vinegar will help to activate the baking soda because baking soda, unlike baking powder, does not contain an acid. Baking powder is basically baking soda with some part of acid in the form of tartic acid or cream of tartar. So we mix this nicely. Once you see that the sugar starts to dissolve, we add in all the dry ingredients together. Gently mix it. Now once you see all the ingredients start to suspend in the liquid, give it a nice whisk so that there are no lumps and all the ingredients are mixed nicely. So you will see the mixture is thick, but it still has got some fluidity and it can easily flow, or you can easily pour it in the desired ring or mold or container. Okay, that looks perfect. So now next up, our mold is ready. Our ring is ready. You can bake in any size mold, any shape, whatever is desired. I am using a regular round mold. So I put some parchment and foil below to hold the batter. Now we will pour the batter in the ring, almost 3/4 to the volume of the ring. We always have to keep some space for the sponge to rise inside the oven, also known as oven spring. Please let me know if there are any questions. Okay, so it's good to go inside the oven at 160 degrees Celsius, 160 degrees Celsius in a preheated oven for about 45 minutes, and then we will check it with a skewer.
So chef, can we use butter instead of oil in the recipe?
We can use butter instead of oil, but for this particular recipe, oil works better than butter because it keeps your sponge softer. Butter, once the sponge is cooled or is chilled, the butter starts to solidify, and the property that oil has is that in the refrigerator or when the sponge is chilled, oil still remains in its liquid form, keeping the sponge more moist than butter. But yes, in case you want to replace oil with butter, go ahead with both.
And you can please tell the size of the ring we have taken?
We are using about 6.5 inches ring. 160 degrees, 45 minutes. Okay, so we will start with the next recipe, which is a vanilla genoa or a basic eggs-based sponge.
Chef, at what mode to bake in OTG?
At what?
Mode.
Convection mode, please. You can switch on both the rods, and maybe you'll have to adjust the oven. If your oven is very hot, you can go at 150 degrees Celsius. If your OTG is slightly old and it takes a longer period of time,
Okay.
you can maybe go at 165. So we are baking at 160. There may be a slight variation with the ovens that all of you are using, but it will be more or less same. Okay, so we start with the next recipe, camera here please, which is a basic egg-based vanilla sponge or a vanilla genoa. So a genoa it originates from France. It's a basic egg-based sponge. The previous sponge that you all would have seen was an eggless sponge. So this recipe contains egg, sugar, breakfast sugar, flour, some butter that we are going to melt, and some vanilla essence. So please understand, first recipe that we made of the chocolate sponge, which was an eggless recipe, the leavening agent was baking soda, which is a type of chemical that we use, which is an edible chemical. In this case, we are not using any chemical for leavening. There is no baking powder, no baking soda. So the mode of aerating the sponge will be mechanical, which means we are going to use this bowl and whisk. You can also do it by hand, but it's going to take some more time, or by an electric beater if you have. So we are going to use our best friend, which is KitchenAid. So first then, we put the eggs inside the KitchenAid bowl. Now, with the eggs, all the breakfast sugar goes inside. Eggs and breakfast sugar in. I'll give it a quick mix. Please ensure that the eggs are at room temperature. You can always take them outside the fridge, maybe about 3 hours before you have to start the recipe. So we took it out during lunch time. Now this will go to the KitchenAid and we are going to start whipping it. If you can get the camera. So we will first start with slow speed. Don't start with a very high speed, because if you start with a very high speed, the eggs are going to whip up very quickly and the sugar will settle at the bottom. So we start at slow speed for the sugar to dissolve, and slowly, once the sugar starts dissolving, we will gradually increase the speed so that the eggs can whip up. So we are using breakfast sugar. In case you don't have breakfast sugar available during the lockdown, you can take the regular sugar or the granulated sugar that we use at home and just powder it in the mixer that we generally have at home. We can put the vanilla essence with the eggs. So one very common tip you would have heard, but yet it's very important, is always put some vanilla essence whenever you are using eggs, to balance out the smell and flavor of the eggs. So you will see that the eggs are whipping up. During this time, the sugar also starts to dissolve. Now we gradually start increasing the speed. Don't go at a very high speed. When you whip your sponge at medium speed for a longer period of time, the aeration is more stable and there are very less chances of you deflating the sponge. If you whip your sponge at a very high speed, what will happen is the eggs will incorporate a lot of air, big bubbles very fast, but during the time we cut and fold the flour inside, it will start to collapse very easily. So to whip up a very stable mixture, please do at a medium speed for a longer slowly the eggs will start to foam up. We are not in a hurry. Always remember that we are not going to whip up the eggs very, very rapidly. Always go on a medium speed for a longer period of time. Is my voice clear? Please send a thumbs up. Guys, please send a thumbs up if my voice is clear to you all. The recipe is posted on our Instagram page. We can quickly show it to you and you can take a screenshot. That's the recipe. Please feel free to type your questions related to the demo. Okay, you would see that from yellow, our mixture would start to turn slightly more whitish because of incorporation of air. But as I can see, it requires some more time. Guys, please remember the key is using eggs at room temperature. Please don't take cold eggs. If you take cold eggs, they are not going to whip up nicely and the sugar will never dissolve. And the final product will have sugar unevenly spread out on the cake.
Aquafaba instead of egg.
Aquafaba is a good replacement for egg whites, and we have got different eggless recipes. In this recipe, you cannot just replace the aquafaba with the egg. However, we have eggless recipes that we can share and you can use them. Okay, let's have a look. Our eggs are whipping up some more time. They are almost done, but require a little more whipping. Our oven is already preheated to 160 degrees Celsius.
Black sugar instead of brown sugar.
Can we use brown sugar? Yes, you can use brown sugar, but you need to slightly powder your brown sugar in the mixie or in the home mixer that we have that we use for grinding. You can use brown sugar. It will give you a darker color and the typical brown sugar molasses flavor that it has. But if you use brown sugar in this recipe, your final product will not be white. We are making a vanilla sponge, but absolutely it can be replaced.
Can't we use egg replacement powder?
We have got different eggless recipes. In this recipe, as it's a basic egg-based sponge, it's very difficult to replace the egg. This recipe is wholly and solely dependent on the egg. The volume comes only from the egg. So it will be better if you do not replace this, if you do not replace anything in this recipe.
How many eggs are you, chef, as it's given in grams?
So one egg is approximately 45 to 50 grams, and we can do the calculation accordingly. The reason why we sorry for the lag, guys. Sorry for the lag. I hope my voice is clear to you. Please send a thumbs up. Is my voice clear to you all? Guys, am I audible? Is my voice audible? Guys, is my voice audible? Guys, audible? Am I audible now? Yes, we are getting a few thumbs up. Yes. Thank you. Thank you. Sorry for the network lag in between. Okay, so please focus here. So as you can see, the eggs, they start to look very fluffy. I'll show you all once we. Okay. So as you can see, that's the ribbon consistency when the eggs start flowing like a ribbon. One more check is you can make number 8. If you can make number 8 easily and it stays inside, it doesn't mix with the remaining mixture, that means your eggs have whipped up nicely. Okay, as you can see, the number 8 stays. Now what we are going to do is, this was just to show you. So now what we are going to do is, so we are going to continue whipping at the lowest speed possible. This is to ensure equal distribution of air and smaller pockets of air. So whenever you are whipping up the sponge and you stop whipping up the sponge at lower speed for a few seconds, about half a minute, what will happen is that the dispersion of the air pockets will be smaller and you will have a much more stable mixture to work with. If your air pockets are bigger, as I mentioned that you do not whip the eggs at a very high speed. So when the air pockets are bigger, there are chances of your mixture deflating faster and is more fragile during the cutting and folding of the flour. As you can see, the mixture will be very shiny, fluffy, and almost turning white because of incorporation of air. From yellow it will be pale to white. Few more seconds and it will be done. Okay, perfect. So that's how our final mixture looks like. So what we are going to do is, we are going to start cutting and folding flour inside. So the flour that we have, we are going to roughly divide into 3 parts. Always sieve your flour to make your sponge lighter and to remove any undesired pieces inside. Now gently we are going to cut and fold the flour and ensure that you are rotating the bowl at the same time in the opposite direction of your spatula. This will cover more surface area and better results. Okay, first part done. Now we go with the second part of the flour. Be as gentle as possible. possible, as you would want to reserve maximum aeration, which will result in a more spongy texture. If you continue to fold for a very long time or you fold it very vigorously, there are chances of your sponge deflating and it will result in a very dense cake. Okay, there goes the last part of the flour of the recipe.
All-purpose flour or
We are using all-purpose flour or the regular maida or the refined flour that we get. So the butter already melted in the microwave. We just ensure nothing on the sides. Make sure nothing at the bottom. All the mixture homogeneous. So you will see nothing at the bottom of my bowl. Absolutely fine. Okay. Now when you see here, the mixture is still fluffy and it's holding the swirls. If it becomes flat too fast, that means you have overfolded the sponge. So what we are going to do next is, since the butter is hot, we take some part of the batter, of the cake batter, mix it with the butter. This part is called tempering or getting the temperature down, because the butter was very hot. So we mix it nicely. This will help the butter to emulsify better with the remaining sponge batter inside our bowl. Small quantity of butter. So of course butter will contribute to flavor, also the texture and the mouthfeel. So now very gently I'm just going to fold in the butter in the remaining cake batter. Okay, that's it, done. Please don't overwork with your sponge batter. Here we have a similar ring already lined, cake ring. You can make it in any mold. So we are going to fill it 3/4, approximately 75%. Level it gently and done. So immediately this needs to go inside the preheated oven. It cannot hold for very long because this mixture is very fragile. So 160 degrees Celsius, approximately 35 minutes. So the trick that we follow with the sponge is we place a bowl of water inside the oven. Now what is the need of placing a bowl of water inside the oven? Whenever you place some water inside the oven, it helps to compensate for the extra moisture loss from the cake. Which means when you put this cake batter inside the oven, there will be some moisture loss, also known as oven loss, which will be the loss of weight of the cake. So the only thing that gets out of the cake is your water. Now water is present in eggs, it's present in butter, it's present in vanilla essence. So whenever there is some evaporation from the sponge, the water in the bowl, it tries to compensate that evaporation and keeps the sponge moist. Your sponge will not become dry. Any questions regarding the sponge?
Not as yet.
Okay. So next up, while our sponges are baking inside the oven, we already have a set of sponges ready. So this is a eggless chocolate sponge, and this is the vanilla Genoa sponge. Now I am going going to show you how to slice these sponges into layers so that we can continue making the cake, or we can continue layering the cake tomorrow.
What is the substitute of cocoa if we want to make plain cake?
Cocoa powder.
Cocoa.
Okay, so for this recipe, it's a vanilla based sponge, and this recipe is a chocolate based sponge. If you would like to make an eggless recipe, we can share an eggless recipe for the vanilla also. If you have to make a chocolate sponge, it's important that you add cocoa powder, because that will give you the desired chocolate flavor in your sponge. If you would like a recipe for a eggless vanilla sponge, we will share it with you. So I'm going to show you how to slice the cake, or what we call torting of the cake. So this sponge was baked in the morning. So as you can see, the volume is quite nice. One more trick: whenever the sponge comes out of the oven, you will always see a dome on the top. Now generally you will see that that dome is trimmed and it's put with the trimmings. That's some loss of weight of the sponge. So what we do alternatively is, when the sponge is baked, we will take the hot sponge and place it upside down, which will help the dome to actually combine with the whole body of the cake, and what you will result in is a flatter sponge. This will help you to not waste the sponge, as that dome also gets flattened with the sponge and the whole cake can be used. So technically there will be much lesser trimming in terms of weight of the sponge, and it's again a saving of the cost. Okay, so next up, I'm going to show you how to tort or slice the cake neatly. Now remember, your sponge has to be completely cooled down. It cannot be warm, otherwise it will start to break very, very fast. So first up, we are going to, I have placed the cake upside down. We are going to trim the bottom layer. So please see very carefully, I am going to trim as less as possible. So I am inserting the serrated knife. Always use a serrated knife or a bread knife for slicing the sponge. And when you start, keep one hand on top of the sponge and rotate your turntable. So I am only going till here, I am not going to the center. I am going to remove the crust part. Very gently, keep on rotating, and here you go. Very less trimming, only the crust part is removed. Now we are going to mark 3 equal sizes. So we start here and keep on rotating till you cover the entire circumference or the entire boundary of the cake. Okay, there you see. Now while rotating, I am going to keep my serrated knife straight or parallel to the turntable or the cake table, and you go straight, and there, that's the first layer out. So that's the beauty of the sponge, simple ingredients and a very light and flavorful sponge. We go to the next second layer. Very carefully, keep on rotating. Keep on rotating. And then once it joins the circumference, we go slowly straight. Always remember that the serrated knife has to be used in a push and pull motion. Don't try to force it from the back side to the front side. There we go with the second layer, and that's our final layer of the sponge. So if you can see fairly, these will be 3 equal layers of the sponge that we will use for layering any of the cakes. Okay, now to practice this, what I also suggest is you can keep a scale and measure the height of the sponge and divide it, or put some markations, equal marks on the cake to get even layers. It's only a matter of practice. Please feel free to ask any questions. Okay, thank you very much guys for attending this demo. Our sponges are in the baking, and please remember, once the sponges are out of the oven, you are going to place them upside down. The best way to check whether your sponge is baked nicely or not is you take a toothpick or a satay stick and insert it to the bottom and check if it should come out clean. If there is some batter stuck to your toothpick or satay stick, then it needs some more time in the oven. Cool it down nicely once you place it upside down, and it's best to rest it overnight or at least for 4 to 6 hours, and then you can start to slice it. Thank you very much for joining us. The video will be posted through IGTV on our APCA Instagram account. My name is Astik Oberoi, as I already mentioned. You can follow me on Instagram by the name of Astik Oberoi. You could kindly mention my Instagram. Yeah. Guys, any questions? Thank you very much for joining us. The recipe will be available online. Thank you. Stay safe.